Letter G says I'm going to finish the seam by sewing a zigzag stitch right on the edge of the fabric that I just cut. So I'm going to take my fabric and I'm going to line it up in my sewing machine in between where the two toes of the presser foot is. So I'm going to put my presser foot down so that the middle of the fabric goes right between those two toes. That'll make it so the zigzag will sew on the fabric and off the fabric. I also have to change my setting so that this is going to show a zigzag stitch for number 8. So right here, I want the light to be lit up next to the number sign, and this should say 01 from when I was doing my straight stitch. I'm going to hit the plus button until it says 08. And when it says 08, that will give me a zigzag stitch, which is the finishing stitch I'm using on the edge of my seam. Okay, now I have my fabric lined up, so it's going to start on the edge, and right away when you start a zigzag, it sews in the same spot for a couple of stitches. Okay, then it starts going back and forth, and I'm going to back stitch. So I hold my reverse and go back to the beginning, and then I go forwards again. Now I'm making sure that the needle is going on and off the edge of my fabric by keeping my fabric in between the two toes. Now this time I do not have to worry about pins and taking pins out because my fabric is already together from where I sewed it. When I get to the end, I'm going to slow down and I'm going to back stitch again. So I hold my reverse, back a couple stitches, finish at the end, lift up my presser foot, and now I can pull my fabric out and cut my threads. And I do the same thing where I started, cut my threads. And if I look at the side, I should be able to feel that zigzag stitch wrapping around the edge of the fabric. This is what's finishing the seam to keep your raw edge from unraveling. The last thing you do with this step is you're going to be pressing it at the iron. So I just did my front seam, I'll do my zigzag stitch to my back seam, and then I'll go to the irons next.